Gensler stepping up. Let's get it rolling. All right, YouTube, what an absolute pleasure to come to you guys tonight, February 9th, 2023. We just keep it rolling. We're going to have a massive session here tonight. Thank you for tuning in. Everything's over at the website if you need to get in touch, if you need to get tapped in with the Discord community, if you need to get some precious metals, if you need to get some crypto. You already know that deal. You know how straight we shoot it to you every night. Current events, cryptocurrency, and the greatest transfer of wealth in world history. TikTok, thank you if you guys could keep on tapping that screen. For the YouTube crowd, if you could just do me a favor. I appreciate you guys so much. Okay, thank you. Let's get it rocking and rolling. Absolute blessing to come to you guys tonight. Massive session. Let's get fired up right away. Back below 22K for the Bitcoin. For the Bitcoin bros that told us to the moon forever and always. We called it once again. We will show you guys the charts here at the end of this show, okay? Charts are going to be at the end. Stay tuned for that, but I'll show you the work that we've been putting in there. 1,500 for our Ethereum, or for your Ethereum. You know I don't hold Ethereum. And a 38 cents XRP, okay? So we did make the move. I hope you guys were ready for it. Back below 22K, back down to 38 cents for XRP. Hopefully, maybe your AI coins are still pumping if you guys are making that play. And we're going to go into the charts at the end of this session. Thank you for tuning in with me. If you haven't already, let me remind you one more time. Let's smash that thumbs up. Okay, I appreciate you guys. Rocking and rolling. Russia is amassing, excuse me, 1,800 tanks, 700 aircraft, and 500,000 fresh men. Planned offensive coming from Russia. Let's continue to watch that one. Currency war underway. Russian national wealth wealth fund excludes euro and in the future will hold only Chinese yuan, ruble, and gold. So Russia and the rest of these countries, the wealth funds. This isn't just the government. This is, their national wealth fund here. But many of these other countries, many of these other banks, basically even businessmen or investors, right, having to pull their funds, pull their money, and drop the dollar. Now they're only holding Chinese yuan, ruble, and gold in Russia National Wealth Fund. Now, like I said, if you guys need to roll over your 401k retirement account to precious metals, or you need the metals shipped directly to your house because you like to hold on to them, you like to cling your metal together and touch it and feel it, hey, whatever gets you rolling, whatever floats your boat, it's over at my website, zachrichter.com. Hit the gold link, get in touch with my people. And if you have any issues, just hit me on the contact page and we'll make sure that the metal gets right to your house delivered. And if you need to roll over that retirement account, my partners will help you there as well. Continuing on, Gold Telegraph reports this. France is considering using funds from depositors in a savings account to finance part of a $50 billion plan to build 6 nuclear reactors. We live in unprecedented times, and we sure do. And so, once again, a bail-in to fund nuclear reactors, you go woke, and you're going to go broke as well. And we've made that very clear from the very beginning. And it all started last year, and we're seeing this thing still play out. And folks, I want you guys to go look at what's been taking place in France. This is not a joke, okay? The people are in the street, pension funds are in trouble, and they're trying to reduce the ability for you to get your retirement account. Macron, facing the situation in that France country right there. Like I said, in every country, we got the same cabal that we're working against, and you know Macron, okay? You know who's cutting that check, all right? Okay, so let's be straight about this situation. They're having to do austerity, they're having to do cuts. He's trying to lower the or raise the age that you would be able to get the benefits for the retirement accounts, from my understanding. But you guys take a close look over there. If you're from France in the chat, or if you're in Europe, you see this situation developing in real time in your area, in the country that you're in right now. And once again, bail-ins now. They're going to take depositors' funds because and this was one of the main takeaways from the Vancouver Resource Investment Conference, is that they were talking about nationalizing gold supply, nationalizing and basically securing, sanction-proofing their economies, and securing the supply of natural resources. This is a national security issue. They don't care about going woke, right? Well, the West did. The West did. They went bust. They're continuing to go broke, and now they're having to cut the pensions. Now they're having to raise the retirement age. Now they're having to cut programs, and they got people in the streets. Like we said, this is how this was always going to end up. The middle class gets wiped out. If you're in the United States, 401k, how's it doing? Okay, equity that you had in your house. What's going to happen over the next 12 to 24 months in the real estate market? Quick reminder, quick note, it took 5 years for the real estate market, the average price based off the Case-Shiller index, 5 years, 7 months to reach the bottom. Okay, so that real estate's going to be a lagging asset class, and the crypto bros, we've been sacrificed already. We should be, probably one of the first to bounce back and recover, but understand the situation that we're going through, understand the situation that your country's in, and this is real. How are you going to protect, even if you don't got wealth? You're just a regular person, and now they want to take the depositors' savings accounts. If you're lucky, fortunate enough to actually have savings at this point in time, looking to take 50 billion of depositors' savings to finance and build 6 nuclear reactors. And so this was one of the key takeaways, going to that resource investment conference. And all these guys are talking about how the geopolitics, it's a national security issue. It's not a game. They don't care about going woke over there in the BRICS nations. And it's the BRICS plus the rest of the world that is done with the United States, and the Western hegemony is being destroyed right now as we speak. As I told you guys, Russia Wealth Fund dropping US dollars, only honing Chinese Yuan, ruble, and that's going to be gold as well. So it's clear as day to see the moves that they're making, and they're done. They're making moves. What's happening to your 401k? What's happening to your pension funds? What is the situation of the debt and currency crisis in your country continuing on? Let's get it. Credit Suisse clients pulled $120 billion and have reported a 5th straight loss. How is your program working out? And these are the biggest banks in the world. Right? So it's not just Binance that's getting 12 billion pulled. We got the old guard, Credit Suisse, 120 billion. Solvency coming into question, not just for the cryptocurrency space. This is Credit Suisse and the big boys and girls as well. Now, today's news. Massive. Let's check it out. Crypto exchange Kraken settles with the SEC for $30 million. Will close U.S. staking operation. Okay. Big time settlement, $30 million. Well, actually, I think that Ripple's ready to cut a little bit bigger check. I think that Ripple's going to flex on all these guys when they settle up. Ripple might settle, 100 million, 200 million, maybe even a billy. Screw it. Let's give a billy to Gary. No, I really hope that we don't have to, but 30 million here for the Kraken exchange settlement. And here's the deal. Jeremy Hogan calling it out perfectly said. Kraken offers up to 20% on stake tokens. Bank of America offers 0.0001% and a paper clip. Of course, the SEC would shut it down. And that is the old guard as they get 120 billion pulled from Credit Suisse as they offer you basically nothing to hold your money. And if you're in France, now we're going to do a bail-in to fund nuclear reactors because we don't even have power to run the country. I mean, this is how crazy this is getting, guys. But they are coming after the crypto space, right? With the funds and all the money and the organization that we've built out here at the SEC, good guy Gary is going to protect us investors by making sure that we can't get any sort of yield better than the bank's offering. Now, this is what's interesting to me. Eleanor Terrett says Gary Gensler is embarking on a Midnight Massacre in an attempt to bring all of crypto under his control. In the coming weeks, the SEC, New York DFS, that's the Department of Financial Services up there in New York, and the USOCC, Office of the Comptroller of the Currency, will be bringing a myriad of enforcement actions against exchanges and banks. So the banks that did dip their toes into the water, the institutions that tried to move their big boy and big girl money into the space, are coming into issues as well. Good guy Gary, he's going to protect us. And we have additional actions are coming from the SEC. The source says that exchanges and stablecoin issuers will be getting Wells notices in the coming days and weeks, specifically mentioned Circle and Paxos. Now, we specifically showed you guys last month the Circle Treasury printed 148 million from their treasury on January 20th, right before we, moved back on up to about 23,000 for Bitcoin. And then we showed you how at the Paxos Treasury for Binance, they were printing hundreds of millions of BUSD at Paxos Treasury. So specifically mentioning Circle and Paxos, just like we mentioned them specifically last month when we talked about the manipulation that took us back up to 24K. And we saw it clear as day, placed our Bitcoin shorts, and you know the rest is history. The rest is profits back in our bags. Thank you for playing. Wells Notice is a notification issued by regulators to inform individuals or companies of completed investigations where infractions have been discovered. It usually takes the form of a letter, which notifies recipients both of the broad nature of the violations uncovered, as well as the nature of the enforcement proceedings to be initiated against the recipient. So this is a notice that you're about to get sued. You're about to get taken down. But this is the part that I was saying is interesting. Eleanor Terrett says this: just received the following text from a source. Don't be surprised if Gary Gensler pulls the announcement and moves it to next week's closed meeting because he is pissed it was leaked. Now, we did see Gary Gensler did put out a little a video. This was earlier in the day when Eleanor tweeted this out. Gary did put out the announcement. The SEC obviously made the announcement, and everyone is now aware that Kraken has settled up for $30 million. But what I find interesting is that we got sources on the inside telling us that Gary Gensler is getting frustrated. He's getting mad. And if you just gave us a level playing field, Gary, this could be a smooth transition to the fourth industrial revolution. This could be a smooth transition, Gary. We know you're a good guy. We know you're going to take care of Goldman Sachs and you're going to take care of the little guy too. That's why we call you Good Guy Gary. And so it's interesting to see how this is unfolding. Joshua Woolley with the 5 spot. I appreciate that super chat. Thoughts on Sologenic, Zach? I've also been stacking silver, so thanks for the great content. Keep up the great work. Joshua, I appreciate it. The silver is a must. I mean, the silver gets us going, just like XRP does. Having offline assets absolutely critical to the plan and the portfolio and how we maneuver this great reset. And Joshua, great question on Sologenic. I have not done a deep dive on Sologenic, but I'll tell you this, it has not turned me on. And so you know me, either it gets me going or it doesn't. And it's kind of a one or the other for me with cryptocurrencies. And with Sologenic, the airdrop was a disappointment. And then the preceding crash after that. But then, it looks like they're trying to do something. So I remain neutral on Sologenic. I have a little bit that I was airdropped, right? But I traded the Sologenic airdrop and I took the money and ran. Because with all these airdrops, we just continue to see that the price dumps after everybody gets their tokens. So I dumped my Sologenic holdings right before the airdrop and chose not to receive the Sologenic 1-to-1 for however much, Solo you held. And I, just dumped all that and rolled it back into XRP. Took my XRP and ran. And then I received a little bit of Sologenic because I still held XRP. But I hold that little bit today. I haven't bought in since, and they haven't been doing anything that really gets me exciting since. But like I said, I like to remain neutral with these projects unless I can see that there's major red flags and they're major scams. So I'm trying not to just Shiite on all of these XRP Ledger tokens that, don't do it for me, but I'm staying neutral and I'm going to let them build. They're just getting started, right? With my platform, with the amount of eyeballs that we got, I don't think that it's appropriate to just shit on these guys when they're just getting started. But, doesn't turn me on. I don't have any. I have a few. They sent me a few with their airdrop. Okay. Let's continue on, guys, though. This is massive. We got to continue. Thinking Crypto, Tony Edward. Here's an idea. All U.S. crypto exchanges and platforms should sue the SEC for clarity. They would have a strong case given the Ethereum non-security declaration by Hinman and Clayton, and then backtracking by Gary Gensler, not to mention regulation by enforcement. Well, that's the thing, guys, is that's why we're tapped in with these lawyers now. We got Fred Rispoli, who is the owner of HODL Law, that has filed this case. Now, we've been one of the few platforms that is actually talking about this lawsuit that Fred Rispoli has filed. Actually, HODL Law, his law firm filed this, and it's basically what Thinking Crypto is talking about right here. Getting the SEC to give us clarity on Ethereum. But what did the SEC try to do yesterday? The SEC filed a motion to dismiss, alleging lack of subject matter jurisdiction to preserve its ability to continue to keep its secrets position on whether SEC will target Ethereum as a security. So this is what Fred's working on, and this is why we're going to continue to cover this lawsuit. Fred, same guy, filed the class action lawsuit against Coinbase for Songbird and Flare, and so we're just going to watch these claims. We're going to watch these moves being made by the lawyers and do our part to continue applying pressure to the SEC. But we have moves being made. And this is why it's so important that we support Jeremy Hogan, James Filan, John Deaton, Fred Rispoli, Jimmy Valley, all of these lawyers and all of the people within the community that are trying to, put in a jab, put in a left hook while they're not ready, And I saw another person in the XRP community put out a tweet tonight. His name's Kenny. I forget his last name, but shout out Kenny. And he said that he's prepared with his lawyers to file a claim in the Southern District of California if this case screws over XRP community. And that's where I'm at with it too, man. Wherever I have to file, at my county courthouse, at the state, whatever level we got to go, class action lawsuit, we got to apply pressure. Because you see what's happening right now. Midnight Massacre by the SEC is how some people are choosing to describe this. Midnight Massacre, right? And they didn't save anybody. They let this whole pyramid scheme get built up on top of the Ethereum free pass monopoly. We get the token factory created on the ERC20 tokens. And if this is the case, right, this is very, very clear that many of these projects are securities. And they're going to come after much of this space. Even Kevin O'Leary saying that they're going to come after 10,000 cryptos are going to go to zero, is what Kevin O'Leary said. Now, huge shout out to Fred Rispoli. There's no mincing words. Kraken, and that's Jesse Powell and Montessori, which are basically the owners and the creators of Kraken, all went out like bitches today. How about that? Fred, not pulling back, not holding back at all. Fred's moving forward. No time for mincing words. All went out like bitches today. Although HODL law has 1/1 the funding of Kraken when it comes to taking on the SEC, Kraken has 1/1 of the cojones of HODL law. Maybe not even that. And this is why I say God bless John Deaton, God bless Fred Rispoli, and I was shocked actually to see this from Fred tonight. I was like, oh damn, Fred's stepping in here. He's not playing games and he's calling these guys little bitches. Now that's what gets me going, baby. Let's call these guys out for what they are. They're not willing to make a stand. And we stand and we support you guys at the forefront of the battle. You tell us where to go from here. I mean, John Deaton's the general of this army, this legal army, this legal battlefield that we're in. Because we can look at the moon dates. We can try to do riddles still. We can, or we can be like, some of these guys in the XRP community whining like little bitches that that their bags are down and now they're spreading FUD and coming up with the most crazy things about Ripple and with this and that and just complaining, right? Or we step up. We put up a fight, make our claim, cut a check to these lawyers. I mean, they're going to take everything from us if we don't make a stand. So you tell me who I need to get on my show, who we need to support, who we need to cut a check to, what class action lawsuit do we need to sign on to, what petition do we need to sign. This is America. And God bless Fred Rispoli for calling it like it is. These exchanges are settling up and they're not willing to put up a fight like Ripple has for the crypto community. They're not willing to put up a fight like Library. They're not willing to put up a fight like Fred Rispoli, John Deaton. See, these are the people that are taking a stand. Library, going bankrupt, fighting the SEC, right? I would give a shout out to Reggie Middleton too. My man. Had him on the show a couple times now. Bold DeFi patent claim, right? But God bless Reggie for just putting up the stand that he did against the SEC. And they make these guys fold. They make these guys settle up, right? Just like these big projects like Kraken. And this is where this is going to get interesting, folks. I'm going to tell you right now, this is not done. This is not going away, and this is just getting started with the Midnight Massacre. Gary's about to go on a killing spree. Ripple Van Winkle, let me get this straight. If the SEC government bans crypto staking for the public, then a majority of Ethereum validators will have to come down because you need 32 ETH to stake, which means the ETH network is going to experience issues and potentially, I would add, even become more centralized, okay? Now we have this tweet right here from Ter De Meester. The Howey test is not rocket science. An investment of money in a common enterprise with the expectation of profit and to be derived from the efforts of others. Staking rewards equal profits, and a dozen hard forks suggest Ethereum equals centralized, a common enterprise. The ETH 2.0 flop, right? We called that one. The ETH 2.0 joke that they rolled out after 3 years of waiting around, right? And so, guys, just to conclude this Midnight Massacre segment, guys, they are coming after this space. Gary Gensler is going to have the law on his side. He is going to be able to apply this Howey test to many projects, and Gary Gensler is going to go on a killing spree while lecturing us about him being a good guy and protecting the common man and woman investor. That's the sad situation in the United States, and that's why we got to get behind these lawyers that are putting up that fight, leading the charge on that legal battlefield. God bless them. God bless them. Okay, Tease Crypto, my man. It's simple. Current legal framework won't allow banks to deal with crypto. To replace fiat-based Nostra Vostra with crypto, you need the ability to hold it. If you can't hold XRP and others, you can't migrate over to a full DLT environment nor replace correspondent banking. And so this is where I go back to, I get Neil Hartner on my Twitter space the other night there, and he confirms and states that ODL is growing like wildfire, but he cannot speak on the partnerships in the United States. He's not on the business end of ODL. He's not on acquiring new banks. He's on the tech side, right? But what Neil said is that it's growing like wildfire, and that most of the growth right now is happening outside of the United States. So once again, folks, you go through the balance sheet, go look at how many assets are on the balance sheet of all of these Ripple partners in the United States. And in these Western countries where they're slower to the plate, here, getting crypto regulations set, giving us rules of the road, okay? But then T shared this one with us. For those who want to see the full article regarding R3 XRP Nostra accounts testing. Now, I'm just going to run through this real quick, and I bring this up. This is from 2016, but I just want to remind everybody about the tests that have occurred on the XRP ledger years ago. Guys, this is 7 years ago. We're talking tests with the biggest financial institutions in the world. While they have been running campaigns of misinformation, disinformation, JP Morgan trying to come up with their own project, and they've all been failures. And they've all been really cute tests. And God, man, I am sick of seeing everybody want to deep dive all these little project this and that, which I understand. We do need to kind of watch what they're doing, and it is interesting to see because you see, and we can speculate, okay, this sounds a lot like XRP. This sounds a lot like XLM, or these cryptocurrencies could be applied to this, or they're going to roll out with their own CBDC. But the fact remains that you need a not a gender neutral, a neutral reserve currency. In regards to XRP, that's what we've been bringing this conversation back to. That's why these banks and financial institutions would hold it, not just tap into ODL for 3 to 4 seconds, but actually put it on their balance sheet, right? For treasury flows, for launching their own NFTs, for tokenizing everything and using one of the most liquid ledgers, the most efficient, scalable ledgers that is available for these institutions. Until we get these regulations set, we're in trouble, but the tests have already been done, guys. This goes back to 2016, right here. October 21st, 2016, banks test Ripple's digital asset and X-border payment overhaul. The distributed ledger technology developed by Ripple is now at a trial phase among FinTech Innovation Group R3 and 12 of its member financial institutions as the collaborators look to an alternative to traditional interbank global payments. Okay, so R3 and a dozen of its partner banks are now using Ripple's digital currency dubbed XRP to fulfill cross-border transactions. Reports said the financial institutions are exploring how the use of that currency could potentially reduce the cost of traditional cross-border payment practices. Now, this is what I wanted to cover. No banks are using XRP. How often do you guys see that in my comments? How often do you guys see that on Twitter? The Twitter talking heads, the TikTok talking heads, the people that have no idea what they're talking about, and they don't take the time to go back and research these documents that tell us all the trials with XRP were done back in 2016. Bank of Montreal, CIBC, Intesa Sanpaolo, Nordea Bank, RBC, and Westpac Institutional Bank are among the financial institutions participating in the trials. Now, remember at the time, why did this deal get done with R3? because Ripple wanted R3 to introduce them to all of their bank partners. And at the time, they had JP Morgan, Morgan Stanley, Chase, some of the biggest banks in the United States, and some of the biggest liquidity banks. I think that Brad Garlinghouse, I'm about to play a clip from Brad here in just a second. JP Morgan's the third biggest liquidity provider as far as the commercial banks go. And he said that I'm about to play the clip here, is that Swift is only messaging, but it's Citibank, it's JP Morgan, it's Morgan Stanley, some of these other banks, Credit Suisse, that are actually unlocking the liquidity after they get the Swift message. But what XRP does is it's the messaging and the settlement in 3 seconds at almost no charge. And it's a neutral platform. You don't have to have any trust in this transaction. But once again, people just forget about this, and shout out to Tease for sharing this article back from 2016, just reminding everybody of what took place 7 years ago with XRP and banks using XRP. So right now, people aren't seeing headlines, right? Even though the Central Bank of Montenegro just said that they're piling up with Ripple, right? The people say, well, they're not using XRP. And the haters come at you, oh, they're not using XRP. And RippleNet's growing, but they're not using XRP. But I'm about to go through the markets report. I'm about to play the clip from Brad. And we got over 60% of RippleNet transactions going through XRP right now. And we already have the tests that were done with the biggest banks in the world back in 2016. Back years ago, the big banks tested XRP. And I'll let you speculate on what type of pre-allocation deals got done with them. Because if that bank is partnered up with R3 and they see that R3 just got an option to buy 5 billion XRP from 2016 to 2019 at less than a penny, wow, that's interesting. 2016 and then 2017 comes along, and then in a market report they read that Ripple says that they want to make XRP a world reserve digital currency. It's like, oh, geez. Well, if R3, this larger network that we're a part of, is trying to get a deal on 5 billion XRP, maybe we should go get some. And I'll let you guys do the speculation on that part. Okay? Or I'll let the haters just keep on running their mouth and say that no banks are using XRP, and we just say, good luck, God bless. Tell me how the program works out for you. Swift, with the update. Are you ready for the ISO 222 go live cross-border payments and reporting CBPR Plus starting in March of 2023? So Swift is getting hype here about the March 2023 go live, but we got this one here from 24 Hours Crypto. Dear XRP community, as per Bank of England, they will not rely on Swift as much anymore beyond 2024. Now recall, Bank of England, once again, Ripple partner, 2018. These deals go back years. These trials with XRP go back years. I'll let you guys speculate whether or not these banks picked up some XRP. They will not rely on Swift as much anymore beyond 2024. Reduced reliance on third parties, Swift, for settlement, and they're talking about the real-time gross settlement renewal program benefits delivered through the new core settlement engine and the roadmap beyond 2024. So this is the white paper that just came out, or I don't know if you call this a white paper, whatever paper this was that just got released here by the Bank of England. But all of these central banks really rolling out this program. But once again, they're not even planning on using Swift. Wow. Reduced reliance on third parties, Swift, for settlement. Well, that's the funny part, is that Swift never even did the settlement, right? They were just doing the messaging. And then they still had to go do the settlement on their end. And they had to hold $30 trillion in Nostro Vostro accounts that gets unlocked when you start to use on-demand liquidity XRP. But what does Brad have to say? Let's play this clip here from Brad Garlinghouse. And this is at the World Economic Forum that just took place. Okay, Brad, representing us so well once again here in Davos. Let's play the clip here. Brad Garlinghouse, insights from the 2023 World Economic Forum. Brad Garlinghouse, wait for it. Huge shout out to DAI for sharing this one with us. Thank you.
Let's go there. Is Swift a competitor? Is Swift something that in a future scenario you would see working with? And what about transfers that happen through platforms like a Revolut or a WeChat?
Yeah. So Ripple decided earlier on that we wanted to be at kind of the infrastructure layer, and there's a whole bunch of strategic issues associated with that. One of them, quite frankly, is that if you work with regulated endpoints, that's where all the regulatory frameworks apply. KYC, know your customer, AML, anti-money laundering, all the acronyms. If you work just with regulated endpoints, they're making sure that that is the case. Companies like WeChat have to do that regulatory work themselves. Now, Swift is kind of a competitor. It's slightly more complicated than that because Swift is really just messaging. When you send a Swift transfer, it's not liquidity. You're actually sending bank messages to banks that have liquidity. So to some degree, Citibank and HSBC, really the top two, JPM, those are the top three liquidity banks.
You mentioned Jamie Dimon, so let's bring it back to Jamie and JP Morgan. What do you think is going to be the thing that they will have to change the most or lose market share and somebody else is going to do better, faster, serve their clients better than JP Morgan or Goldman Sachs?
You can just hear the bankers panicking right now.
And when you're sending Swift messages, you're sending messages to banks to release liquidity and making sure the debits and credits match. So to some degree, really boil it down, Ripple's competing with the liquidity of Citi and the messaging of Swift, but in one, because we're both messaging and liquidity. And at the end of the day, again, as I described, Swift was developed 50 plus years ago. It architecturally hasn't really changed. It does remain slow, days. It does remain, relatively speaking, expensive. And actually, interestingly, it's quite error prone. And part of that is just, it's a one-way messaging protocol. So if I fat finger Paxos and I put one S instead of two in the middle, I guess you have three S's, but that will bounce back. They'll say, no, that account name doesn't match that person. That's an error. Now, if you use modern technology, you would get a real time, you're typing in Paxos an account number, you get a real time, okay, does that account match? Oh, I mistyped, I fat fingered that name. So the efficiency, we see, instead of a 6% error rate as reported for Swift, you see 10 bips of error, so 99.9% effective. So we think these are better technologies that can be applied broadly to the vast majority of, frankly, all of the banking system by selling it as a wholesaler, if you will. And therefore, if we don't compete with the WeChats, WeChat could be a customer of ours.
Let's go there.
Don't you just love it listening to that man speak? God bless Brad. And like he's saying, these little cute little WeChats, they can be a client of ours. We're going to be on the wholesale level. They want to come pull up, move some real value, move some real money. We can help them do it on the back end, right? But like you said, Citi, HSBC, and JP Morgan. Now, if I recall, Citi and HSBC have already done partnerships with Ripple, right? Somebody go back and fact check me on that, but I'm pretty sure Citi and HSBC have already done some sort of partnership or trial with Ripple. And then with JP Morgan, we know the story from Brad that he had 15 executives from JP Morgan sit down in his office. So clearly there was just a wee bit of interest from the JP Morgan guys, right? And classic clip there of Gary Gensler there on stage and getting called out. But once again, folks, I wanted to show you guys something that I recently just came across of. And this came about from conversations that I had with Andy Sheckman, my good friend Andy. We were talking about how the digital Yuan has had about $20 billion worth of settlement so far on it. And I said, wow, that's so interesting, Andy, because I'm looking at a RippleNet product that has done about 30 billion in settlement since 2019. And we know about the corruption in our government. We know who cuts those checks. And I'll let you guys connect those dots, right? Many of you are already aware of who's hijacked our country and, who cuts these checks, right? And so we see here that we have an interesting little missing article. And we have a race. Guys, this is a tech race. In a reserve currency race, because we just started out this session by saying that Russia is no longer holding the dollar in their sovereign wealth fund. They're dropping the dollar and they're only going to be holding rubles, Chinese yuan, and gold, right? And then if you look at the tech race, you have the digital yuan that's done about 20 billion in settlement so far. And we have about 30 billion that's been achieved by RippleNet so far. Okay, so this was an interesting article that I came across today, and it highlighted, it reminded me of this fact, and I wanted to bring this up tonight before I go into the Q4 markets report. But this was deleted, apparently. This was Kevin Cage brought this up. This article has been deleted, and this was China's central bank, industry, and academic leaders to Ripple's headquarters to discuss the latest blockchain trends. So Ripple in 2017 welcomed China's central bank, industry, and academic leaders to their headquarters, right? But this has since been deleted. And so then I was talking with Andy, and he brought up that fact, and I'm going to show you guys in the next article how much settlement here has actually been done with that Chinese digital yuan. Here, check this out. Chinese digital yuan spreads its wings, and this is from the ChinaDaily.com. China is making big strides in testing its digital currency on the world stage, with Hong Kong poised to be a vibrant center for ECNY's use in international trade, Zhang Tianwan reports from Hong Kong. 8 years after China began creating its central bank digital currency, the Hong Kong Special Administrative Region is poised to become a global crypto hub with further policies and infrastructures rolled out. The digital yuan might be the most active currency in the SAR to settle international trade. The digital yuan, or ESNY, is a fiat currency in a virtual form issued by the central bank, the People's Bank of China. Okay, the pilot program kicked off in 2019 with brick and mortar consumption, the receipt of pension subsidies, and expediting of expenditure on campuses. But take a look here, right, guys. The value of transactions soared to about 100 billion yuan, or equivalent of $13.9 billion. But this article right here is from November 11th, okay? So I've seen and I've pulled, you can go look this up yourself, anywhere from about 14 billion, and Andy said about 20, I think maybe he said 18, right? But there's, numbers anywhere from 13 to 20. And I just find it so interesting. What a coincidence. Right? They're touting that they have, what did they say here in this article? Taking the lion's share of world's e-currency transactions, the most active currency in the SAR to settle international trade. Well, we see that there's a clear competitor over here with XRP, and now we know that 30 billion of settlement on RippleNet would not be transactions all on XRP, but I'm about to show you guys the Q4 2022 markets report from Ripple, where they report that 60% of the transactions are now going through on-demand liquidity, right? So it's just so fascinating, such an interesting coincidence, right? That we have the SEC choosing to attack Ripple, and we have a tech race right here in reserve digital currencies, and literally running neck and neck in terms of settlement so far. And you can see, Ripple's on-demand liquidity, I think, went live in about 2018, 2019, same exact time frame. Interesting coincidence, and we're going to continue to watch that one. Now, right here, we're going to get right on into it, folks. The Q4 2022 markets report from Ripple. This one was interesting, guys. This one was massive. Let's get into it. Wait, what? I'm not going to go over that again, but if you didn't hear that, basically we've had, anywhere from 14 to 20 billion in settlement with the digital yuan, and we've had 30 billion in settlement on RippleNet. And now we know that 60% of the transactions on RippleNet are going on XRP. And so, we just have this tech race, this rat race right here between, a rat race wouldn't be the right name, a reserve currency race is what I meant to say, between Ripple, XRP, and the digital yuan. Truly fascinating to watch. Now, Q4 2022 XRP Markets Report. Folks, it was an absolutely massive quarter. Q4 2022, absolutely massive. Notable takeaways. On-demand liquidity, Ripple's crypto-enabled cross-border payment solution launched in France, Sweden, and Africa, and is now available in nearly 40 payout markets. Remember, folks, when you go live in France, when you go live in Sweden, that basically essentially means that you got the green light in the Eurozone. France and Sweden, both part of the Euro, right? So you basically got the go-ahead there. That means you got the go live, you got the green light. You can flip the switch in all of Europe now, essentially. And Africa, major. Now available in nearly 40 payout markets. Total XRP sales by Ripple net of purchases were 226 million versus 310 million the previous quarter. I'll dive into those numbers here in a sec. And we had Pierced release the first phase of the Ethereum virtual machine sidechain for the XRP ledger on DevNet, which allows DeFi applications in like Uniswap, Aave, and Compound to easily launch on the XRP ledger. So they are working on the Ethereum virtual machine right now as we speak. Okay, Q4 Markets Report, I'm not going to talk about that. They mentioned now 12 billion flowed out of Binance. Big shifts, big things happening here in the cryptocurrency space. And they say right here, by the end of Q4 2022, XRP spot markets experienced a general downtrend by way of average daily volumes, currently at roughly 700 million, down from 1.1 billion in Q1 of 2022. This is consistent with crypto more broadly, where in the derivatives market, open interest for Bitcoin was down 15% from Q3 2022 and 30% from Q4 2021, while open market interest for Ethereum was surprisingly more resilient, down less than 10% from Q3 2022 and 25% from Q4 2022. So we have less derivatives trading, less speculation on both Bitcoin and Ethereum. No single centralized exchange has benefited from this flight to self-custody, which underscores just how uncertain the landscape has become. While there were some decentralized exchanges that have capitalized on this migration, volumes still remained far below their bull market highs, down 50%, and that's a source of Dune Analytics. While the market will likely remain fragmented, the industry will see investment activity with a focus on improving core crypto primitives such as payments, custodial services, DEXs, and cross-chain user experiences. Okay, global regulation. So they talk about FTX. They talk about a settlement here. Coinbase settled a case with the New York Department of Financial Services and agreed to pay a $50 million fine and invest another $50 million in its compliant efforts. So we have a Coinbase settlement. We have the SEC charged Genesis and Gemini with allegedly selling unregistered securities. So yeah, lots underway. But in the EU, the final vote for the Markets and Crypto Assets Bill was postponed to April 2023, and Coinbase was granted approval by the Central Bank of Ireland to operate as a virtual asset service provider in Ireland. Okay, Brazil President Jair Bolsonaro signed into laws the country's first crypto regulatory. We lost our page here. First crypto regulatory framework, and Hong Kong reaffirmed its pro-crypto stance as it aims to become a crypto hub. Ripple released its UK policy white paper outlining its regulatory ambitions to propel the UK toward global crypto hub status by driving consumer protections, assessing crypto assets according to different risk profiles, and ultimately growing the industry in the UK. In 2023, stablecoin regulation will likely be top priority, and in the US, Ripple expects major bills from last term to be reintroduced. That would be the RFIA and the DCEA, as Congress seeks to impose tighter controls in the wake of FTX demise. Update on the SEC lawsuit against Ripple. On December 2nd, Ripple's reply brief in support of its motion for summary judgment, where the company asked the court to grant judgment in the company's favor, was made public. After 2 years of fighting this lawsuit on behalf of the entire crypto industry and American innovation, the case is fully briefed, and Ripple is proud of its defense and feels more confident than ever as it awaits the judge's decision. Decision timing is in the judge's hands, but the company is hoping to see a ruling in 2023. Some say by June. Jeremy Hogan says next 45 days. Let's watch that now. This is XRPL on-chain activity. Okay, so what we can see here is that we had less on-chain activity, right? The bear market kicking in, less transactions. We had 106,000 Q4 2022 compared to 130 million transactions in Q4 of 2021. So we have less transactions, but we did get growth, a little bit more growth than Q3. Okay. XRP burn for transactions. Only 101,000 XRP was burned in Q4 compared to 365,000 in Q4. So those are important numbers to highlight, guys. Remember, there's over 10 million XRP that's already been burned total. 365,000 in a quarter. That's about 100,000 a month that took place there in Q4 of 2021. But this last quarter, we only had 100,000 burned, okay? And the average cost per transaction was definitely cheap, 0.00096. Average cost per transaction in XRP compared to 0.0028 in Q4 of 2021. Okay. And the average closing price was 42 cents. That's up slightly from 36 cents in Q3. And we were at $1 last year, Q4 2021. Now, the volume on DEX, we were at 85 million last quarter. Okay, and we had 8.7 million trust lines. Okay, so we have even more trust lines, and the number of new wallets, though, this stat right here is fascinating, folks. This tells you where this thing's going. The number of new wallets, 228,000, nearly double. Nearly double the amount of wallets that we had in Q3, and you can see though, nowhere near what we had a year ago, 624,000 new wallets created in Q4 of 2021. But that was during the peak of the bull run, right? But it is fascinating to see that from Q3 to Q4, we had over 100 million more wallets created, 228 million new wallets. Now you times that by 10, and that's more XRP that's taken out of the circulating supply, essentially, right? Unless those wallets are being used for liquidity, unless they're being used for some sort of liquidity transactions or some sort of pool, right? That's, you times that by 10 and you got that amount of XRP. What would that be? 2 million XRP that's getting held up just as minimum in those wallets, right? So interesting that we saw that growth in the number of new wallets. Definitely, I think a lot of people getting into XRP as we anticipate the end of this lawsuit, this conclusion. So let's get it. Despite a broader market slowdown, on-chain activity on the XRPL stayed relatively buoyant. As trading volumes across the broader market slowed, the number of transactions on the ledger increased by over 3 million, spurred primarily by NFT activity once the XLS20 amendment passed on November 2nd, 2022. Although the number of transactions increased, XRP burn due to transaction fees declined 33%, and the average cost of a transaction in USD remained virtually zero. During that same time period, the average transaction fee on the Ethereum network was $2.75, and on the Bitcoin network, it was $1.23. So on the XRPL, you're at 0. On Ethereum, you're at $2.75. Bitcoin, you're at $1.23. How's your program working out? XRPL interoperability in Q4. This was massive, guys. Pierced announced the release of the first phase of the Ethereum virtual machine sidechain for the XRPL on DevNet. This milestone means more developers can easily access the XRP Ledger's feature set such as speed, sustainability, and low-cost transactions while being able to code Solidity-based smart contracts. Additionally, this opens up the door for successful DeFi applications like Uniswap, Aave, and Compound to easily launch on the XRPL. More utility on the way. Do you have enough XRP, folks? Global growth of on-demand liquidity reaches record highs. As we've been talking about, you know the deal. Ripple remains one of the few crypto firms well capitalized and ready to meet robust customer demand in 2023 head on by continuing to hire strategically, invest in attractive opportunities, and build a platform that can allow traditional institutions to access crypto innovation on the XRPL in a safe and secure fashion. Bring on all the money, or at least some of it. You guys know the deal. Ripple wrapped up 2022 with its strongest year to date, focusing on crypto utility and scaling its ODL product. As RippleNet continues to grow despite a tumultuous market, Ripple experienced the highest amount of demand from both new and existing customers adopting ODL. Today, Ripple's crypto-powered payment solution is available in nearly 40 payout markets, up from just 3 in 2020. How about that for growth, folks? From 3 markets in 2020 to nearly 40 payout markets. Flip the switch. You got the green light. Start sending it and getting the money sent without having to pay $3 on Ethereum, $1.23 on Bitcoin, or wait 3 days or a week for the transaction to go through with the Swift traditional banking system. Okay. Now, this is where it gets massive. Last quarter, ODL was launched in France, Sweden, in partnership with payments provider Lehmanway and Xbot, respectively, and in Africa via MFS Africa, a leading payments gateway in the region. Additionally, Ripple expanded its customer base to corporates that are looking to experience the benefits of crypto-enabled cross-border payments for their business. And what did they say out of Ripple Swell Conference? Bank of America looking to use XRP for a quote-unquote competitive advantage after the SEC versus Ripple lawsuit concludes. Ripple has processed nearly $30 billion worth of volume and 20 million transactions since RippleNet was first launched in 2022 approximately. So guys, all of last year, this is so key, guys. Do not listen to the FUD out there, the talking heads from Twitter and TikTok. They aren't reading off these numbers for you guys. They aren't just simply going and reading what Ripple's been telling us. This is massive growth, guys. 30 billion worth of volume, which is more than the Chinese digital yuan in the tech race, the reserve currency, digital reserve currency race that we're in. 30 billion worth of volume here, a little bit more than that digital yuan, and 20 million transactions since RippleNet was first launched. But last year, approximately 60% of those payments were sent through ODL settling on the XRP ledger using XRP. This is massive. This is flipping the switch. This is not just Ripple customers and partners that are using RippleNet. No, this is XRP settlement. Flip the switch. Disciplined, responsible stakeholders, Q4 sales and purchases. Now, this is what I love to get into, folks, right here. This is what I love to get into. This is reserve currency status. Ripple operating as the treasury of the XRP supply, and they are getting it done. Last quarter, total XRP sales by Ripple net of purchases were 226.31 million versus 310 million in the previous quarter. Ripple has continued to sell XRP only in connection with ODL transactions. As we continue to say, guys, they are not getting the XRP to the exchanges. If some of these ODL partners decide to give up some of their XRP, then yeah, technically speaking, I guess, hypothetically, some XRP could get into the hands of these exchanges, right? But what we see here is that Ripple is only selling XRP only in connection with ODL transactions. Now, let's get into these numbers. This is what we love to see, guys. This is what we love to see. This is demand for XRP. Their ODL partners are begging for XRP. So the total purchases in Q3 was 2.5 billion. 2.5 billion worth of dollars, 2.5 billion fiat US dollars spent on XRP so that they could turn around and sell 2.8 billion. Okay. Then in Q4, what did they do? They ramped it up even more, purchasing 2.7 billion. They spent even more, another 200 million spent on acquiring XRP so that they could sell nearly 100 million more than they did in Q3. 2.964, 2,964 million. That's 2.964 billion. That is nearly $3 billion worth of XRP sold to their on-demand liquidity partners, and that's net sales of 226 million. Now, global XRP volume was down 700 million compared to basically almost 800 million in Q3, and total XRP volume was at dollars and billions was at 64 billion compared to 72 billion. Okay, so what we have here is what we see here is a clear demand for XRP from their on-demand liquidity partners. Their ability to sell 3 billion worth of XRP, right? And their ability to spend 2.7 billion cash. Who else in the crypto space is throwing down making investments like that into their own project? But we're not done, folks. We are not done. Remember, all ODL related sales are attributed to the growth and adoption of ODL. Figures were compiled using Ripple has been a buyer of XRP in the secondary market and expects to continue to undertake purchases as ODL continues to gain momentum. Now, remember, guys, when we had Neil join us in the Twitter space, what did he say? Is that Ripple doesn't want to give up the amount of XRP that their on-demand liquidity customers want, so that's why they're going and spending 2.7 billion, making it rain to give up fiat dollars to trade for XRP so that they can turn around and sell nearly 3 billion in one quarter alone. And I'm going to show you guys the totals of the last year. I'm going to show you guys a little bit more of these numbers here too. We got some more to see, guys. But this is what's confirmed by one of the lead software developers at Ripple right now that's working on ODL. Neil came up into my Twitter space and he said it's growing like wildfire outside of the United States. And Ripple continues to buy XRP because they don't want to give it. The ODL customers want more than Ripple's willing to give away or sell off, right? So they're willing to go buy $2.7 billion worth of XRP so they can turn around and sell nearly $3 billion worth. It's very simple, guys. And this is what I love about investing in XRP and watching Ripple build utility, build up liquidity on the XRPL, is we can see and watch this growth quarter after quarter. We don't have to listen to the nonsense. We don't have to listen to anybody else. If you just listen to Ripple, this is clear as day. Demand for XRP growing. Now, they also talk about here that they are doing leases. Certain wallets used for XRP sales also provide short-term leases to market makers and participants. This is worth noting given they are often incorrectly interpreted by market participants as sales. Yeah, there's all sorts of FUD confusion being spread by the talking heads, and you guys know that. You guys can see that every single day on Twitter and TikTok. It's absurd. XRP associated with leases are ultimately returned to Ripple. The total amount of leases outstanding in Q4 2022 was 57 million XRP. Okay? But this is what we want to get to right here, folks, the escrow. This is what we want to get to right here is the escrow. In Q4 2022, 3 billion XRP were released out of escrow, 1 billion each month. You guys know the program. But in line with prior quarters in the official escrow arrangement, in total, 2.1 billion XRP were returned and subsequently put into new escrow contracts throughout the quarter. Folks, what have we been saying? 3 billion's released to them for free. Their cost basis is zero. But instead of dumping, right, or even just selling it off to their on-demand liquidity partners, they returned 2/3 of it back into escrow, back into 55-month time lock escrow. So if you don't believe in the future of XRP, clearly Ripple does. So if you're, these guys that are spreading all this FUD and all this confusion and nonsense, and they're butthurt because their XRP bags are down, and now they're trying to call Brad the bad guy and Ripple's the bad guy, and this and that, right? And just bitching and whining and complaining, right? Go look at what Ripple's doing with the escrow, and it's clear as day what they think the future of XRP holds, right? They're willing to tie it back up for 55 months, guys. That's over 4 years, right? Almost 4 or 5 years that they're willing to tie back up their XRP, and they're willing to go spend 2.7 billion cash in the middle of a bear market recession when everybody else is going broke and insolvent. Let's spend 2.7 big ones so that we can continue to grow this ODL. And we're going to stuff 2 billion XRP back in escrow, by the way. It's all there for us. Continuing on. For more information on the escrow, you can see there. Okay, that's good. We love to see it. And it confirms everything that we've been saying as far as XRP being a world reserve digital currency. You know, these gatekeepers in the XRP community want to say that XRP will never be a reserve currency. Well, what the hell do you call that? Get your game up. I mean, what is that? And I'll tell you right now, just because, this is what we do now in 2023, you can identify as whatever you want. Well, I'll tell you right now that my XRP that I got, it identifies as a reserve currency. And that's because it ain't leaving my control. So I don't care what you want to call your XRP. And I don't care how you interpret this data. I'll tell you right now how I interpret it. It's pretty damn clear to me that Ripple is and has created XRP into a world reserve digital currency, and they are treating it as such, willing to lock it back up while the rest of the space cries, are we ever going to make it? Even in the XRP community infighting. Pathetic. Let's get our game up. Now, guys, this is absolutely massive. XLS20 is now enabled on the XRP Ledger. Last quarter, XLS20 went live on the XRP Ledger mainnet. This represents a considerable milestone for developers and builders utilizing the XRPL for their native NFT projects and apps, which can represent assets that are each unique, along with operations to enumerate, transfer, and hold such tokens. This is massive. It's so much more than pictures, guys. This is going to be tokenizing everything of value. XRPL-based NFTs were designed with efficiency in mind. Significant transaction expenses are a fundamental problem for developers minting NFTs on other leading layer 1 blockchain solutions. Gas fees can add hundreds of dollars to the final price of an NFT and vary based on a given network's user traffic and congestion. You can't even know, you can't have any sort of expectation when you're using these other networks as far as what the cost is going to be, if it's going to settle today, next week, is the network down, is it up, has a winter storm come through town and the miners are offline, what's the deal? And then we covered the news how, right, like one guy put one NFT on the Bitcoin ledger and it basically congested the whole block. a guy, and I'm not a developer, I'm not a blockchain analysis expert, but my understanding is that one guy put one JPEG, one NFT on the Bitcoin network, and it basically consumed up a whole block. I mean, it didn't shut down the block, it didn't make it like overly congested or break the network, but literally one. And it's just a joke. It's just a joke. You guys know the deal. But once again, NFTs on XRPL based NFTs were designed with efficiency in mind. And yep, I covered that. NFTs on the XRPL also include automatic royalties, which standardize royalty enforcement as one of the benefits of the ledger's built-in DEX. For creators, NFT transfer fees provide them with a share of their revenue when the NFT is bought and sold. They can also designate a third party who mints and sells the tokens on their behalf. Community projects like XDude, Pixel Ape Rowboat Club, XTokenize, and XRP Junkies are proof of the excitement and NFT use cases made possible with the XRPL's low transaction cost and high transaction volume. Since going live, more than 800,000 NFTs have been minted, with 410,000 transacted, bringing XRP volume to 12.9 million. So we love to see it. We're about to break through, and maybe we already have 1 million NFTs moved on the XRP ledger. And just think of how much money was saved in those million transactions that took place on the XRPL versus what could have been taking place on Ethereum or some of these other networks, right? So we just absolutely love to see it. But folks, we are not done. We are not done because there's a few more data points that we got to cover. You got to understand this. Now, this was originally shared by Leonidas. Ripple's Q4 2022 XRP Markets Report is out. Here's the breakdown of all of Ripple's sales and purchases since 2018. Steady growth of ODL-related sales attributed to the growth and adoption of ODL. People want to use XRP. It's very simple, folks. Now, let's take a look here because this is very, very important. I already had showed this once, but I wanted to round off the XRP Q4 2022 Market Report by bringing this up back again. Okay, look over here, folks. This is when it began. Back in Q4 of 2021, $321 million of XRP was bought. $321 million worth of XRP was bought in Q4 of 2021, and that is when they started the purchases, right? That is when they started the purchases of XRP. And where did it go? See, we had a total of $1.5 billion worth of XRP sold in 2021 total, right? So that would be XRP that they were getting released from the escrow account. 150 in Q1, 157 in Q2, $491 million worth in Q3. So that was all XRP that they either got released from the escrow or that they were already sitting on. And then in Q4, they purchased $321 million worth and sold $717 million worth, okay? Now, we scroll on down and you can see right here. And actually that was sales net of purchases. They broke $1 billion worth of total sales in Q4, right? So that was when they first broke $1 billion worth of XRP sold in Q4 of 2021. But this is where this gets interesting in 2022, because this is when Ripple started throwing down billions of dollars every quarter to buy XRP. In Q1 of 2022, they purchased $1 billion worth of XRP and they sold $1.3 billion worth. In Q2, they purchased $1.7 billion worth while they sold $2.1 billion worth of XRP. In Q3, they step up to the table and they throw down $2.5 billion worth of XRP so that they can sell $2.8 billion worth. And then Q4, the final quarter of 2022, they threw down even more, $2.7 billion bought of XRP so that they could sell $2.9 billion worth of XRP, or nearly $3 billion in Q4 and Q3. And it brings the total. They threw down $8 billion cash buying XRP in 2022, and they sold $9.2 billion worth of XRP in 2022, strictly going to their on-demand liquidity partners, folks. And so you can see the demand. You can see the growth. In 2021, we had $1 billion worth of XRP sold. In 2022, $9.2 billion worth of XRP. You guys can do the math on how much of a growth that is. That is absolutely massive. So, simply put, guys, basically in the last year, if you include Q4, in the last year, we have broke $10 billion worth of XRP sold to their on-demand liquidity partners. And then we can look, since 2019, we have $30 billion worth of settlement on RippleNet. And now we know in 2022, 60% of the transactions on RippleNet were going through on-demand liquidity XRP settlement. So the proof is in the pudding. It's right there. If we read the markets report, if you go back and listen to the Twitter space where Neil confirmed and described the growth of ODL like wildfire, right? And we continue to see that this is without the United States banks and financial institutions and many countries in the United States, in Europe that have not given us regulations yet. So we have France and Sweden opened up ODL corridors. That's massive. And so that means that we're going to continue to see other countries within the Eurozone, other banks and financial institutions within the Eurozone are about to flip the switch too. And now that we got Brazil fired up, and many other countries there in South America, Latin America firing up, flipping the switch with ODL, and then now we see Africa. So we've reached every single continent, every single 40 different payout networks. And when you see what Ripple's doing with their money, and we say, don't watch what they say, watch what they do, right? It's right there for us. They threw down $8 billion cash in the middle of a bear market, in the middle of a recession, while the rest of the space is whining and complaining, heading to the hills, taking the money and running because they're insolvent, they're about to go bust. What's Ripple doing? $8 billion cash. $8 billion cash on top of a $250 million NFT fund, on top of $100 million battling the SEC, on top of Brad bragging at Davos that they're still sitting on $1 billion cash, ready to pick over the carcass of FTX and the remnants of the space that's left standing. We'll pick over the carcass of it. And people are spreading FUD. People are confusing the facts. Facts over feelings. Market report over you whining and complaining. That's where I'm at. I don't got time to listen to these guys whine and complain and still be confused about how ODL works. It's pretty damn simple, right? And I'm actually going to go further from this data that I have here, and you guys can maybe even beat me to this if you want. If you go back and pull these numbers, and you can see how much XRP is basically entering into that on-demand liquidity pool. That liquidity pool that's being built out by Ripple with ODL, we can go back and now we can, see when we start to do these equations and try to figure out, valuation models for XRP, we have these numbers that we can work with. Neil said that basically $250 million worth of settlement was taking place every week. And that would be obviously $1 billion every month. And so that's, correlating there with the numbers that we just pulled there, right? We're seeing $2.7 billion spent by Ripple so that they could turn around and sell $2.9 billion worth. So we have a lot of on-demand liquidity the settlement that's ramping up, but we also have a lot of XRP that's being sold to them ramping up. Now, the XRP gatekeepers will still say that they're not holding it as a reserve. They're acquiring it so that they can use it for ODL, but that's simply not true because we now know that they got treasury flows, we have NFTs, and we have banking giants, the largest custodial bank like BNY Mellon, where the heir of the BNY Mellon fortune, these guys that have been running these companies, he acquired $50 million worth of XRP back in 2016 before his untimely passing. As I showed you guys the R3 trials that were taking place with dozens of major banks back in 2016. So from there, we can figure this story out, right? Is that if you want to get on Ripple's program and you want to use their ODL, they're willing to sell you some, right? And they're mostly stuffing their XRP escrow back in their vaults, which tells me everything I need to know. They're stuffing it back into their escrow, back into their vaults, and then they're only selling it to their on-demand liquidity institutions. This is the only confirmation that I need. We cut through all that FUD, all that nonsense. And so does Brad Garlinghouse right here, folks. Stepping back for a moment from what's happening in the United States, just in the last few weeks, the number of positive, or at least headed in the direction of clarity, global regulatory developments is energizing. Continuing its history of being tech forward, Dubai just published an extensive new set of tech agnostic rulebooks for crypto market participants, covering compliance standards, advertising, issuance, and much more. Australia's Treasury is looking to reform licensing and custody for crypto and bolster consumer protection. They recently published a token mapping consultation and are looking for public input before updating existing frameworks. The UK's HMT's new consultation reflects the government's intent to establish a proportionate, clear framework that allows firms to innovate while maintaining financial stability. An opportunity for the UK to become a global crypto hub, as it previously announced its goal was to be. South Korea's Financial Service Commission published guidelines that delineate what would be considered a security token versus a payment token and how those are separately governed. The list goes on. Brazil's new legislative framework, etc. Note the commonalities. These regulators are providing leadership and doing the work that we are desperately missing in the United States. Unsurprisingly, this is where companies like Ripple's are growing. So Brad, once again, in Davos, he called out the SEC's actions as embarrassing, and he's calling it out here once again. We see leadership in these other countries and how they are moving faster, and they're moving forward, while the United States it's left in this cloud of uncertainty. And we continue to see projects have to pay millions of dollars to come into compliance, to pay their settlement fees to good guy Gary, and none of that money goes back to the damaged investors. See, we would actually maybe believe the SEC at their word that they're trying to protect investors if this money went to if it went to the people. But all of these settlement funds just go to the SEC's slush fund to go after and to continue their attack on American entrepreneurs and capitalists. Now, pull back, and the markets reacted today to the most recent settlement that took place today with Kraken and all of the kind of word on the street about the SEC actions and the government actions that are coming here in the United States. This was the news that brought the markets back down here today, but let's take a look here. What are we working with here? Dark Defender made a nice call here. XRP has exactly followed our below pattern, white color, for 4 days. We set this pattern and pointed out the 9th of February, and today this time will be up. 42 is the key. Okay, so I don't know what 42 is about, but we know that numbers are important. And let's take a look here at Dark Defender's chart. So we showed us right here the initial wave 3 and daily time frame in March. Okay, so he shows us that we got the ABC correction expected to be completed down to 36 cents, and he literally gave us the exact day of February 9th, which is what took place today. And we get this move back down here for XRP today down to 38 cents, and we made the exact same call, right? We said, prepare, be ready, let's pull up the charts. What are we working with? And here's our Bitcoin chart. Perfectly called it once again. Shorted the hell out of Bitcoin, took massive profit once again. Here we are. That's our Bitcoin, went all the way up to 24,200. That was back on February 1st. But then what did we warn about? We have this vertical line right here with our doofus moron TA. Right? The haters, the trolls, they don't get it. They hate on me for putting my moon phase calendar up here on the chart. They think that I don't understand TA. Well, I would agree. I don't consider myself a TA guy, but there's no denying I had this vertical line right here because we had that full moon energy coming in, and it came in perfectly right on that exact day. Welcome, bring it. And boy, was everybody was going crazy. Everybody was going crazy around this time, huh? Weren't they? Right? And the XRP FUD continues to this day. We cut straight through it. We placed our Bitcoin short. Our community was shorting Bitcoin and XRP while we got everybody getting all triggered online, getting in Twitter battles, getting in Twitter FUD spaces, spreading nonsense. And we just simply calmly place our Bitcoin short, ride this thing out, take profit. Thank you for playing. Thank you once again. And remember, I've already been out of my trade, so I don't absolutely time the top. I don't time the bottom. I catch the swing. I catch the move. We showed you the date. hey, here's the vertical line. Here's my horizontal line, because that's all I use. I don't even draw trend lines. I just do vertical lines. I do horizontal lines. I put up the moon phase, and then I just check the market sentiment, and I see the Bitcoin bros and the real doofus morons in the space that think that the bottom is in and that we're going to go up forever, who couldn't see this pullback coming, right? And we just sit back and watch the show. Back down to 21.7 for Bitcoin today, and we went all the way right back down. And we see we had this vertical line right here at 21.5. So we'll see if we end up clearing that. I don't know where we go from here, right? We were expecting this move, but I'm on the sidelines right now. I'm not in any new trades. I'm just continuing to watch this thing play out. Fundamentally, we've been saying this, that the space is under attack. It's under scrutiny. Gary Gensler is about to go on a Midnight Massacre kill streak as he wipes out thousands of projects from the space, all in the name of protecting investors. Good guy Gary Gensler, and that is what we are up against. So we have to secure our funds. Now, what are we doing? Cryptocurrencies that have utility, that provide liquidity, solve trillion-dollar problems. We're stuffing it in our vaults. We're stuffing it on our ledger. We're getting cold storage. We're getting it off exchanges. In the meantime, because the setups were so clear, I had to enter back into the trading space. So I did short the hell out of Bitcoin. I did make profit. In the last year, I've grown my trading bag 120% simply by shorting Bitcoin. So we continue to do that. I had taken a break because we're in the middle of a liquidity crisis. I don't trust these exchanges, but I had to put my money where my mouth was. And sure enough, here we go. But I consider that money gone. The money that I have, I'm using KuCoin. If you guys want, you guys can go to my website. I have a link for KuCoin. I have a link for Uphold. Uphold is where I'm doing my accumulation, where I get my XRP, where I get my other cryptocurrencies. And then KuCoin is where I do my trading. And I don't know if it's the best platform. It's been working for me. They've allowed me to pull XRP off that platform when I had to take my money and run back in November. After I made all my money shorting Bitcoin, I transferred it all to XRP and I took my money and got the hell out of there. And they function perfectly. So they're working. It's at my website if you guys need to get your crypto, if you guys are looking to participate. I don't recommend trading. And like I said, the money that I have now in KuCoin for trading, right now it's in USDT, waiting to place my next Bitcoin short or whatever move I want to place next. I consider it gone. That's what you do. When you do a dance with the devil and you try to go be a degenerate, you might as well consider it gone. And so that's how I consider trading. I know you got these trading guys that are all into it, and that's not me. I'm not a trader. I do doofus more on TA. I make fun of the TA that I do. But the program's been working out. I'm not here to give you financial advice or sell you any sort of trading course or any sort of trading program. But what have we been doing? Shorting the hell out of Bitcoin. That's fun. Stacking XRP, other fundamental utility cryptocurrency projects, right? And then we've also been stacking silver, precious metals personally. My community does partake in gold, does partake in other natural rare earth minerals as well. But what we've mostly been doing myself, I've just been stacking silver, and you guys can get some silver if you go on over to my website as well. Okay. But then we have cash on the sidelines. Why? Because we don't think that this pain is over. So we're going to buy the dip on crypto. And we're going to be able to expect the dip because our program has been so damn tuned in on where this market's moving that we're going to know when the dip's coming. See, everybody says buy the dip, but are you going to be prepared for the dip is the question. And do you know when the dip's coming? Because it's one thing to actually know when the dip's coming and to buy that dip, and it's another thing to have the dip hit you, to have the market crash 10% in a day or whatever it does in the crypto space, and you not know what to do, and you're scared and you're emotional and you don't pull the trigger. So what we're doing is we're calling this out for you guys. I said, guys, full moon of February is coming in. February 5th. Bearish energy, 5 days before, 5 days after. Be ready. Market goes on up to 23,000. 23,811 is when I got my Bitcoin short, and I couldn't stand it. I was calling their bluff, calling their bullshit. No way. Bitcoin ain't worth 23.8. Thank you very much. Bitcoin short, 18% profit. Thank you very much. Didn't even play it perfectly. Still got 20% profit, basically. Back below 22,000. And you have an opportunity right now when we get these markets back down here to accumulate these bags of utility cryptocurrencies that when we do get regulations, like Brad Garlinghouse just pointed out, when these nations, these countries, these regions finally get together, get all the deals done, sign all the regulations, sue whoever they have to sue, settle up with whatever settlement needs to occur, and we get the rules of the road, the value unlock in the institutional money that's about to pour in to this space, and it's coming in. I'll tell you right now, in my opinion, it's coming into the utility. These guys aren't chasing meme coin pumps. These guys ain't going to put the pension funds into memes. They're not going to put it into pudgy penguins, right? They're not putting it into Dogecoin. Now, some of the pension funds did invest into Alameda, did invest into FTX, and that's unfortunate. That's unfortunate, the pension funds up there in Canada. But what we've been doing is we go old world, new world. And then we go conservative and we go risky, right? So shorting Bitcoin, risky. Stacking XRP, that's a fundamental position, not a risky position. You know, yeah, your crypto bags could still get smashed another 50%, but we understand that. That's just part of investing in cryptocurrency. In regards to the precious metals, we have precious metals because I have put most of my bag is into crypto. It's into the new technology. So I wanted to go with offline assets, and I want to go with old world, real world assets, right? That are going to continue to be a hedge. But then same thing within the businesses that I run too. I have my old world property service business, and then I have a new world media business, online, internet. And this is what we do. We hedge our bets. We have our food prepping and essentials while we go be degenerate and short the hell out of Bitcoin. And this is why I've just been laughing over the last week at the immaturity at some of these people in the space that have been trying to be gatekeepers. They literally spread the most amount of misrepresentation and lies that I've seen spread in the space recently in regards to the buyback committee drama that just took place. The amount of lies and misrepresentation that was spread and the amount of immaturity that these people approached the conversation with was just laughable at best, and it was defamation at worst. But, you know, whatever. I'll let them run their mouths. I don't really care. But pull up for the adult conversation, please. What are we doing here? We got Fred Rispoli taking action. We got other lawyers taking action. We got John Deaton, right? We got Jimmy Valley. We're multiple battlefronts here that are being fought out. We have Ripple spending $100 million on this lawsuit, and people are calling me a scammer and all this crazy stuff because I said, yes, include me in an email chain. And I put out some videos talking about how I was glad to be on the committee because, one, we're talking about XRP fair market value. That's a good conversation to have. Two, we're talking about corporate governance and how the U.S. corporation is bankrupt and busts. And then we're talking about commercial law changes to the UCC that affect everyone. Everyone invested in digital assets should pull up to this conversation. Everyone in digital assets should maybe speak with a lawyer if you need help understanding your legal status of your cryptocurrencies, the legal status of how you're going to be able to protect these assets, pay little in taxes. So, all these crazy lies and all this nonsense that was spread that if I, go through the term sheet, if I go down the breakdown, I could show you guys how all of it is just 100% lies. And it's the lies and the misrepresentation that's being spread is the complete opposite from the reality of the proposal and the intentions of the committee. And everyone on the committee admits that there's no very little chance that the proposal is even going to be needed. It's most likely and hopefully not going to be needed. And for me, I speak on my behalf. I've always said, I don't want a buyback. I just want my country back. I want a level playing field. I want the SEC to get the hell out of stopping American businesses and entrepreneurs from building out distributed ledger technology. Just give us the rules of the road and let us roll. But we know why they don't want to do that. We know the threat that the incumbents see. Right? And we've positioned ourselves in a way where, like I said, old world, new world, physical, digital, and conservative, risky. And it allows us to sleep well at night, but then it allows us to make money no matter which way this space goes. No matter which way, whether crypto's going up, whether precious metals go on a run, and we continue to press down in our businesses every single day so that no matter what, we got cash flow. Cash flow is king during a recession, during a downturn, and this is going to give us funds just like Ripple. See, people call me a Ripple fanboy. Well, I wish I had $8 billion to spend on XRP. I wish that I was sitting on $1 billion cash right now. That's a good position to be in. I wish I was still cutting deals with the biggest banks and financial institutions during the bear market recession like they are. It's a good spot to be in. So yeah, I mean, it's not about being a kiss ass, but let's be real here. Let's read the market reports. You know, I get hype. Yeah, I do. Absolutely. But when you read that data, when you see what's happening, I mean, it's very clear to me. They're treating XRP like a world reserve digital currency, and they're making it as liquid as a G10 currency. And they are in a serious race right now against the digital Yuan. Nearly $20 billion worth of settlement on the digital Yuan, $30 billion worth of settlement on RippleNet. Now, 60% of the transactions in 2022 took place on XRP ODL. So it's not just people using RippleNet, not just using Ripple Tech. The haters are eating crow on that one because now Ripple's told us 60% of the transactions are ODL XRP. Let me take a few questions. Thank you for tuning in tonight, guys. If you haven't already, please smash that thumbs up for me. I greatly appreciate you guys. We just broke. This is awesome. We're at 58.9 on YouTube, 58,900 subscribers on YouTube. So that's kind of fun, 589. But we just smashed through 300,000 followers on TikTok. I just want to say a huge shout out. Thank you to TikTok. I know I make fun of TikTok, but TikTok is actually an incredible community. It's an incredible platform, and I will forever be grateful to that platform. I will forever be grateful to whoever, you know, I'm not going to actually say, I'm going to hold back my comments, but I know that some people in the United States are trying to ban TikTok, and I'm like, hey, I still want to get a little bit more out of TikTok, please. I understand, but I want to get a little bit more. I got a little bit more to squeeze out of TikTok. I like TikTok. But 2 years ago, this journey started for me in February of 2021. And here we are, guys. 300,000 followers on TikTok, nearly 60,000 subscribers that we're about to blow through on YouTube. And I just hit 13K on Twitter. So, guys, I just want to say thank you for all the support. I really do appreciate it. At this time, let's do a cheers. And by the way, tonight we were having a little whiskey. So thank you for pulling up. Thank you for joining the conversation. We were feeling good tonight. What are we at? We went for an hour and 20 minutes before we even made it to Q&A. And, you know, I feel like I didn't even do that much on my rants and rambles as I normally do. I was trying to be a quick hitter for you guys tonight. So thank you for tuning in. Let's run it up. What's the questions? Cheers, everyone. Settlement in March. I'm not holding my breath for settlement, but I am expecting a ruling from the judge. So we're going to get a ruling from the judge. I don't want to say that we're going to get a settlement in the next 2 months. I don't want to get my expectations up. I don't want to get your expectations up. Let's be pleasantly surprised when we get that settlement announcement. What's the whiskey? Crown Apple. Crown Apple is the choice of whiskey tonight. Dex, thank you for shouting that out. Everyone in the exclusive private Discord group gets access to even more tactical wealth strategy education. Join up by visiting the website, zacrector.com. Dex, thank you so much, guys. Yeah, it's all over my website, zacrector.com, if you guys are looking to get tapped in. Aunt Lynn, I appreciate you. Yeah, I appreciate you guys. If you guys can do me a favor, let's smash that thumbs up, guys. Let's take some strategies here. Strategy session, quick question, quick Q&A. I got bags, I got silver, and I lift up your game, Zachariah. DL, I appreciate that, man. Yeah, I stopped working out. My mentor, Dan Pena, told me that none of the big hitters have six packs. And so I said, okay, fine, Dan. Whatever Dan says is the only word that's higher than that is the good book. But Dan said that none of the big hitters have six packs. So I said, okay, I'll give up my six pack. And that's my lame excuse. But yeah, I don't work out anymore. How many chickens on the farm? Any choices on the AI coins? I think the AI's already caught its pump, guys. I would not be getting in. I would not be getting into AI right now. It's already caught its moment. It's already had its pump, and especially during a bear market, especially during a downturn like this, whatever AI just got, that's about all it's going to get for now, in my opinion. In my opinion, that doesn't mean. I mean, tomorrow the memesters and the AI pump chasers are going to pump. Some AI coin will pump tomorrow, but you're a chicken with your head cut off, running around trying to chase these pumps. That's not how to make it, in my opinion. But I'm definitely no Dogecoin millionaire. I missed out on that one. Yeah, JJ, appreciate you. JJ, I appreciate the super chat, brother. Thank you. Where is Bitcoin going from here on? I think that we're not done moving down. Talk about XLS30. XLS30 is going to be the automated market maker, and that's going to be massive. That's going to allow us to, provide liquidity with our XRP, and we're going to be able to earn income, passive income. XLS30D is going to be absolutely massive, guys. And many people have been waiting for DeFi staking coming to the XRP ledger, myself included. People ask, where can I stake my XRP? Where can I leverage my XRP? I've been saying I don't trust many of these platforms, right? There's been a few, don't trust them. And right now, I'm excited for Flare. I hope that Flare is successful. We're waiting for Flare to kind of, implement their full plan. But if we get XLS30D, I think this is going to be fantastic, because this is going to be basically, from my understanding, decentralized liquidity pools. And so this is going to be, just, I guess, DeFi for simple explanation, right? Where we're going to be able to put up our XRP in a way that provides for liquidity, and we're going to be able to earn a reward for giving up our XRP for that. It decouples Ripple from the AMA power it has now. Yeah, that's true. Yeah, so it'll compete for liquidity. Will our government allow staking here in the US? Well, that's the thing, Jay, is that this is going to be decentralized staking, a DeFi, right? So when you got these decentralized platforms, how is the government going to be able to shut them down? That's my question, right? Because they can tell Coinbase to stop staking. They can tell Kraken to stop their staking. But how do you tell true DeFi platforms that are decentralized to stop staking? And what's going to happen for Ethereum? I mean, gosh, we talked about this earlier, right, guys? But Ethereum, wow. Good luck. God bless. Good luck. God bless. XRP Healthcare. I've actually seen quite a bit of red flags with XRP Healthcare. Take a quick look at it, guys. All chat GPT has been hacked. Great point. And that's why I don't play with the AI at all. But I think that AI has been way hyped, way overblown. I didn't put much value on AI before it got unlocked or, jailbroke or whatever the case is. And I'm not putting much value on it now. I don't. When do you think that we will hit the bottom in crypto this year? Second, third, or fourth quarter? Thanks, Zach. George, thank you for the 5 spot. I do appreciate that. I would say I think that we have a good chance of setting a new low this quarter. That's what I'll say, is that we have a chance of setting a new low. I don't know if it's the absolute bottom or end of the bull run, the end of the bear market, but I do think that we have a chance of setting a new low this quarter. So I'm watching for that. But to me, it doesn't matter whether we complete this bear market this month or at the end of the year. We got about a year where we're going to go through this. We're going to bottom out and we're going to start to recover. And I think that what's interesting is with coins like XRP, they're in a staged lawsuit where they have the opportunity to just explode. Unlike many other projects, because, if they get clarity, the sky's the limit. The sky will be the limit, in my opinion. Show us the charts minus emotions. JD, I know you've been here for a while, hating and everything. That's fine, man. I was just talking with the community, though, about how we did just short the hell out of Bitcoin, and we were making 20%, 30%, 100% trades in our Discord group. So I know you've been hating on me for not being a trader for a while. Well, we've been shorting the hell out of Bitcoin, and we have grown my trading bag 120% personally. So, these guys try to come at, and this is what I'm saying. These guys try to come at me for being a moon boy. The only moon activity that we're doing is putting the moon phase on our chart and using that strategy to grow our bags over 100%. Why are we expecting a further drop in the market, Zach? Because the regulators are coming. The liquidity crisis is not over. Banks are starting to get sued that funded these projects. Banks are starting to, shut off. And I think that people don't understand how big the news was that Binance, U.S. banks are going to be turning off. Basically, you're not going to be able to fund or withdraw your Binance account using U.S. banks temporarily, is what they say. It's just a temporary deal. But I think that there's just a lot to drop in far as regulations go. I mean, Kevin O'Leary says that 10,000 cryptos are going to go to zero. So obviously he's catching wind, and he says that Binance should be worried because regulators are quote unquote swarming. And obviously we're getting that news from multiple sources right now, right? That the regulators in the United States are swarming. Appreciate you guys. Thank you. What's Bitcoin doing right now? Back at 21.8. It's just hanging on there like a thread. Hanging on for dear life. Bitcoin is. Do we buy now? So yeah, I mean, for me, I can't give you financial advice. I can't tell you when to buy. For me, it's just, do you have enough of these utility cryptocurrencies that you believe in? These cryptocurrencies that you fundamentally believe in. As far as trading, I don't really trade, other than once in a while I partake, but my strategy is very simple. I don't day trade. I swing trade. And for me, I've already acquired bags that I can sleep with at night. So as far as, buying, for me, it's been dollar cost averaging since 2018 into XRP and to other fundamental positions. So I bought XRP when it was at $1.20. Most of my bag has been accumulated under 30 cents. So I'm still in profit right now. And I still want to buy more, but I'm patient because my bags have already been packed. As far as your position right now, I don't know. Can you sleep at night? I'm not going to tell you how much XRP I would need to sleep peacefully at night. I've achieved it, but I think I would sleep even better if I had a little bit more. And that's what I'm going to do if this continues, and if we do go down and set new lows. See, on the XRP price chart, if we follow some of these other fractals, we do come back down again. We do come back down. And we're at 38 cents right now. We do come back down further. Timing this market is tough to do. See, Giorgio says, I have literally gone 6 times higher than I initially thought. Yeah. Than I initially intended in XRP. Yeah. Oh, by the way, guys, a quick heads up. I went to do an interview with Patrick Riley from Reaper Financial today, but his internet connection got wiped out. And so we're going to reschedule that for tomorrow. So I know I put out a TikTok today talking about how I was recording an interview with Patrick. Well, I spoke too soon. We recorded about 15 minutes and then his internet got cut out. And so we rescheduled for tomorrow. So I'm going to be recording another session with Patrick Riley from Reaper Financial. Okay. That's gonna be a fun one. He's been working a lot over there on Reaper. What did I got? I got my notes here. Oh yeah, they have Ascension and Arc are the two extra coins that they did, and he talked about Ascension being a decentralized index fund, and pretty interesting. Just the first 15 minutes that I recorded with him was pretty interesting, and I'm kind of pissed because I was sleeping on that. I hold Reaper token, full disclosure, right? I already have held Reaper for a while, since, last time I talked to him. And by the way, in an effort of full transparency, what I did is I had Patrick on my show, exposed Patrick and Reaper Financial to all of my community, and then I bought Reaper after that. After I had an interview for everybody else to see, and I let my audience know what was up, and that was kind of my own personal, vetting and seeing what Patrick was up to too, because I wasn't sure if I wanted to buy any tokens yet. But that's how I am. While these other guys try to front run their audience and do all this bullshit where they get tokens and then they dump on their audience after golly, that stuff's so sickening to me when I hear about that. But for me, I've had Reaper. Since last time I talked to Patrick been about a year now. I mean, it's been a long time, but he's been working over there, and I missed out. I could have gotten airdrop for Ascension and Arc, and I missed both of them because I was sleeping. So I messed up on that one. Let's take a few more questions. Silver is good. Yeah. I'm going to tell you right now that I'm going to be in big trouble. I shouldn't say that. I shouldn't say too much. I'm going to be in trouble though, and I will be disciplined at home if I come home with a 100-ounce bar, but I want to get a 100-ounce bar so bad. Just for holding it up here on camera. I want to get a 100-ouncer so bad. But wifey wants a house. For some reason, we need a house for the family. I don't even know why. I don't know why. It's almost summer. We can just go camping all summer long. Who needs a house? We need 100-ounce bars of silver, and we need to double up the bag of XRP. I don't know what she's thinking. Jemmy, thank you. Jemmy, thank you. Have a good night. You have a huge mortgage? Man, guys, be ready. I'm going to be doing another real estate update here soon, actually. Another real estate update, yeah. I'm addicted to stacking silver now. Yeah, if you guys still need a place to get precious metals, just get in touch with me. Okay, so you can go to my website. There's a gold link that'll take you to my precious metals dealer. If you have any trouble, they have a minimum requirement too. So just get in touch with me if you have any troubles and I'll get you taken care of. What about the real estate bubble? Well, it's popping, it's bursting. Some markets have already gone down substantially, and I think that we have a ways to go for the real estate market as well. one data point that I came across today was the fact that based off of the Case-Shiller index, which is an index that pulls from like the top real estate markets. It's, a common index for home prices in the United States. Basically, the Case-Shiller index took 5 years to bottom out from the peak of prices back in the last great financial crisis. So real estate's going to take a while, guys. So we got to remain patient, and we got a ways to go. And we have to understand how much bigger the bubble is this time around. See, the last bubble was, mostly created off of the mortgage-backed securities, and it was mostly real estate. This time around, we have a full-blown liquidity crisis, the contagion that is spread throughout the whole financial system. And basically every single sector and asset class has been pumped up by the Fed. And there's only been a few asset classes and a few assets that have been suppressed. And those are the assets that I am accumulating like a madman. Very simple strategy. Okay. All right, YouTube, it is always a pleasure. Like I said, head on over to the website, zachrichter.com. It's all over there for you guys. And if you could do me a big favor on the way out, just smash that thumbs up for me. I appreciate all of you guys, and I will see you tomorrow. Okay, God bless.